Hey, how's it going? My name is Jeff and I'm the OT dude. I'm an occupational therapist and today I'll be unboxing and getting first initial impressions of the Gladly family Anthem 4 all-terrain wagon stroller in neon indigo. That was a mouthful. So let's get right into it. So what I'm gonna do is I wanna rate this on just ease of opening and unboxing, how ergonomic this is while I unbox it, whether I need a helper to assemble it, and just my general overall first impressions of this product. I'll be doing a more in-depth review and comparisons to other strollers, so stay tuned for that. Let's get this thing open. And for those of you who are curious or interested, such as for loading this thing into the back of your car or your truck, this thing is about 26 by 42 by 13 high. And I'll let you know how heavy it is too. And it looks like it's all in one package, although I can get pretty good access to it already. And it doesn't seem that heavy. But this is the one you want to read when you open it. It has basically the quick start guide that I was looking for. Kind of like the airplane. When you ride an airplane, you have a nice diagram of all the things. So, if you have any weightlifting restrictions, like if you've just had surgery, just broke some ribs, you probably want to get a helper for this because it's not the lightest to get out of the box, but it's not too heavy either. It's probably the box of all like the canopies and whatnot. We're gonna set this aside. So it has all these steps, but from what I've seen online, you should be able to just take it out and just pop the wheels on. Okay, it's pretty intuitive. You have these two, I think this is the release bar. And this is a pretty good diameter. I believe this is the bed that you can fold out for the kiddo to lay across. So, looks like a basket. Here are the side flaps. And they're telling me to place the rods into the receiving end, the female end. There you go. Oh, and it clicks into place, so that's nice. You get some tactile feedback. So I think it's pretty intuitive because of the direction of the wheels. It's kind of like fail-proof because this goes this way and on the side, kind of like a car, and these go on the bottom. So based on the layout, they can only go one way. So these will go on the side. Got a nice click to it. And let's test it actually. Yeah. I think it's in. Maybe this is how you remove it. Yeah, pretty intuitive. There's a metal bar here. And it's not difficult to push, but it is kind of like a little bit uncomfortable. I wouldn't say it's sharp, but not an issue. You're not going to be doing this all the time. But even if you are, you don't need like super fine motor skills. You could probably even use like the palm of your hand to like pop it. There you go. I don't think there are left and right. They look pretty identical, so I guess we'll find out. There we go. So here I am unpacking the accessories. Included with your purchase are 4 cup holders for inside the wagon, a cup holder and storage bag for the parents, 2 wheel guards, and 2 canopies, as well as 1 front removable storage basket. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm really glad that we got the 4-seater. You got higher weight capacity, of course, double the kiddos for expansion in the future. And when we're looking at the dimensions, I don't think it wasn't like a drastic difference in size in terms of like numbers. Like you wouldn't think like double the capacity, it wouldn't be double the size. So my wife just told me it's 5 inches wider for the bigger 4. These actually can close together so you can get like a full tent going, which is really cool for sun protection. Adhere and combine together. Oh yeah, this is really cool. So here you go, you get full coverage. And in case you're wondering, you do get pretty good airflow. There's like these pockets right here on the side, these meshy pockets on all 4 sides. Let's take a look at this, because I'm just anticipating where it will be stored in. So it's got a nice cover protective bag. Here are my first impressions. This will not be a full review, by the way, but I will provide my initial impressions on this product. Disclaimer, I purchased this product with my own money and I do not have any affiliations with Gladly whatsoever. First is ease of installation. Although the packaging was large compared to other stroller boxes that I have seen, I do appreciate that most of the Anthem 4 wagon was already assembled, about like 80% of it. All I really had to do was separate the accessories from the packaging and the wheels and the plastic and find the wheels, pop them on, clip them on, and zip on the accessories. And I was pretty much ready to go. The part where I had the most trouble that actually required me the most time, you wouldn't think, but it was installing the 2 wheel covers for the larger wheels. They are made of plastic, and the part that attaches to the wagon, like the connector piece, is pretty thin. Apparently, they actually even changed the design and it's different from what was pictured in the quick start guide. I would have liked that the quick start guide have been updated with the photos and instructions of the actual wheel covers that I had instead of the prior version. I attempted to actually even carefully take off this wheel cover to film like some close-up shots, but I wasn't able to even take it off without risking damaging it. Maybe I was missing something, but it wasn't really intuitive and I struggled and my wife did too. Now, of course, you can leave it on. That's probably what I'll do. So overall, for the ease of installation, I would give it about a 4 out of 5, mainly due to that wheel cover installation and removal process. In terms of physical effort, I would say it didn't really require too much physical effort. The part that would be the most difficult is probably lifting up the wagon out of the packaging because it contains everything inside of it all in one like plastic bag. Alternatively, you could probably cut up the box, kind of like peel it like a banana to access the wagon, but you do risk cutting up the box if you do decide to return the product or to gift it to someone else in the future or something. But you'll pretty much be dealing with the same weight of about 40 to 41 pounds, depending on like how many accessories are on it when you take it out and what you actually get in the box. And as you take the accessories like the wheels off, it becomes lighter, the wagon, but most of the weight does like belong to the wagon, you should know. So I would give it an overall score of 4 out of 5 for physical effort to unbox, install, and to work with. But, you know, for a 4-person stroller, this weight is actually not too bad for an all-terrain wagon stroller compared to something else that has been reviewed to be heavier, such as the Wonderfold wagons. Next is build quality. I would say that it's pretty good. It didn't like scream like luxury to me or like super high quality, but it's not like flimsy or super cheaply made either. To me, I was not initially impressed coming from like Mockingbird stroller. You know, they have more attention to detail, such as like the luxurious materials like the wraps around the handlebar and the buttons and things. For example, the handlebar for the Gladly uses like the typical black foam wrap that you often find in like gym exercise equipment handles. And the same goes for the brake lever. It is made of plastic, and while it does work just fine, my impressions was it didn't look super high quality. And if you actually look on the underside, it has like this grid pattern. Not so great for flip-flops. So instead of just kicking it up with your toes, you kind of just have to move it so that it's not part of your skin and using the flip-flop itself so that it's not as painful. It's not too bad though. Now for the wheels, they kind of remind me of those kids' electric ride-on cars that, you know, like kind of like Barbie or something. They're like not soft and rubbery, but like made of hard plastic. So they will not require inflating or anything like that. So you don't have to worry about flats. But on the flip side, it does balance out for a really smooth ride for the kiddos. And you can see that I took it even for a test on sand, and I definitely had an easier time compared to my other wagon, which had much smaller wheels. It wasn't an all-terrain one, but it was like night and day. And the other part that I noticed was the handlebar. When it's locked into position for the push and pull, it's not like really firm, like it's like locked into place. It kind of wiggles back up and down a little bit, like a few centimeters, inches. Not too big, but you do notice it. And this kind of bugged me a little bit since I'm really sensitive to like smaller movements. Also, the welded aluminum frame, it seems pretty solid. And overall, it didn't make any like creaking or squeaking noises like my Mockingbird does when I have even just one kid on it. By the way, this has a total weight capacity of 250 pounds. So that's a really huge selling point for me, having this huge weight capacity. Even if it's not kids, we tend to like load it up with like gear. So this definitely is helpful. Overall, I would give it a score of about 3 to 3.5 out of 5, being the best. This product was made in China and it does have a 1-year product warranty. The last criteria I will grade, which is arguably the most important in my opinion, is safety and the functionality of this wagon, based on my initial impressions. I will average it out of 10 scores, like 10 sub-scores to comprise the larger safety and functionality score. So I think this product is very functional. In terms of safety, I would say that the brakes, which only lock at the front by the way, are about a 3 out of 5. You can see me in my test that I can't really push it when the brakes are engaged, but I can sort of slide it against like the concrete even though the brakes are locked when I pull in the pulling kind of motion. And this might not be a deal breaker for you, but you should be aware of it, especially if you're like locking it on a hill or an incline or something. Maybe pay attention to the way that the stroller is positioned. It might be best to position it parallel to the incline. So if the incline is like this, maybe having the wagon going like this so that the brakes, if they were to give up, it wouldn't like run away. I would say it's not a huge concern, but it does have only 2 of the 4 brakes locking. And another thing that I noticed with it being only that 2 out of the 4 brakes lock, when I loaded it up into the back of our RAV4, the side with the small wheels that doesn't have brakes, you notice it kind of shift around. So like the wagon overall doesn't go anywhere, but if you were to like brake really hard, like while you're driving, it might kind of shift a little bit. So that might bug some people, or it may bang against other like things that you have in the trunk. Let's say you bought like a vase or something. So that is something you should be aware. You might want to like move your vase. And by the way, the wagon did take almost the full width of my trunk's RAV4. And there was a little bit of room to put like a small backpack, but that's about it. I wouldn't have room for like a carry-on luggage beside it, like for a flight or something. The seat belts for safety are pretty solid, and the harnesses felt pretty secure for my kiddos, so I would give it a 5 out of 5. What is nice is the ability to push and pull the stroller without having to make any changes to the handle, like the Explorer, which is a pretty popular alternative. It locks out actually about like 15 to 20 degrees, which is kind of high, as you can see in my footage here. And it can go lower, but any lower than that, these angles do not lock freely, so it kind of moves. So if you were to pull on it and like stop, for example, the handle would like abruptly go up a little bit because it's not fixed into place at any angle lower or greater, whichever direction you're measuring it from. So then in terms of ergonomics, I would have liked for it to have locked out at lower angles because based on how tall you are and where your arms are, it really is a limited physics where you pull on it at a certain height. If it went lower, it may be more comfortable for some folks, such as those who have shorter stature. So because of this limitation, I would give it 3 out of 5. Another functional criteria is how easy the wagon is to deploy and collapse. And for the first time, it took a little more effort than I would have liked. I actually had to like pull and push against it, like using two directions to get it to deploy. But after a few times, it stuck into place and it was pretty easy. The same goes for the collapsing part, like the mechanism where you have to unlock it, like you slide it on the top and then you press down from the bottom, those two buttons and sliders. My wife and I actually thought there may have been a defect or if it was like a design thing that made it so stiff. But after a few times and getting used to it, we were able to do it easily to basically collapse. Started out with needing two hands to even like make the button click so you could release it. But after a while, I was able to do it with one hand. So that is something you should know if you have like arthritis or something in your hands. It does require pretty, I would say, significant strength to click and release this mechanism so that you can collapse the wagon. The ability to provide sun protection, 360 degrees, and to zip it up down the center is awesome. So 5 out of 5 for that. I also like the fold-out bed that is provided for handy naps when your kids get tired. So I would give that also a 5 out of 5. Not many other products I have seen have this kind of feature. And there are also 4 cup holders, but the one for the parent doesn't really fit the larger water bottles. So like this one that I have will fit, but any larger than that probably will not fit. So I would give this a 4 out of 5 for the cup holders. There are also 4 interior storage pockets and a large storage bin that fit my larger Android phone. So I would give this storage feature 4 out of 5 just because I feel like it could be a little bit more storage instead of that just one little parent cup holder. Maybe it could have a bit larger one or one on the opposite side or something. But also I do appreciate that drop down like for more leg space in the center for the kiddo. So that's great. 5 out of 5. And I like the large wheels. Basically it's all terrain and it has these wheel covers to prevent injury. And because of this from the safety standpoint, I would give it a 4 out of 5 because I would have liked the smaller pair of wheels to have had them as well. So this gives an overall average score of about 42 out of 50 for the overall safety and functionality, which comes out to about 84% or 4.2 stars out of 5 for safety and functionality. To wrap things up, I want to use this product more in different situations so I can give a better review of the Gladly Anthem 4, and I plan to compare it to other similar products on the market. One thing I will say is that this wagon got a lot of looks in public and a lot of compliments, so be prepared for that. Also, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you get notified on my next video when it's up in terms of the more reviews for baby gears such as strollers from an occupational therapist standpoint. Thanks for watching. I hope this helped and have a nice day.